Good evening, everybody. My name is Osa, and tonight we are playing Farming Simulator 19 on Oldstream Farm. I can't for the life of me remember where we got up to. So, tractor's parked in there. That's a good start. Field up there's done. Field over here is still growing. It's planted and growing. Believe this one we finished ploughing. We did. Okay. So cultivated, cultivating. They'll be ready to go soon. Needs ploughed, needs limed. So everything is in reasonable condition. Okay, I think what I might do is plant field 4. What have we got coming? Soybeans and canola are the two we planted. I think I might plant some wheat on 4, and then hopefully by that time it'll be late. We can go to bed. That's why everything looked weird. Hey, Hale, how you doing? Planting stuff is over here. Farm Sim 17, so we have to turn around manually. Now, another option we're going to have for equipment purchase is we could get the larger one of these. Okay, that's set to soybeans. Oh, I was going to go wheat. There we go. Because you can get this seeder in a 4-meter version. Going to make the jobs a little bit quicker. I'm not going to do, what are we looking at here, field 5 right now, because that's probably going to take us a couple of hours. We'll start on 4 and see how close to 8 o'clock we can get. Is it that bad? I'm watching Jingle's playthrough. Although I did watch somebody else's playthrough. But he does that once a week on a Saturday as his Saturday stream. Assuming he doesn't have the man flu or something like that and he's dying in bed. It's interesting to see his take on stuff. But it's not the sort of game I'd watch stream, because there's kind of way too much to play through that, or do, if you like, that really doesn't further the story you're watching. Excuse me while I pause a second because I forget what I'm doing. For example, I mean, he did a playthrough on Subnautica. Very nice playthrough. But one of the reasons it's a good YouTube game and a not so good streaming game is you can spend 4 or 5 hours farming for resources to build the next thing you want. And so if you're YouTubing, you can skip that 4 or 5 hours of looking for what you want and get right on with and here's the next bit we have to do with the thing I just made from the resources I spent 4 or 5 hours collecting. Games like Farm Sim kind of work either way. Because, yeah, okay, watching someone driving up and down fields can get kind of boring, but at least you can engage the audience on a stream, which you can't do on YouTube. Now, I know there's some farmers who will... I can't remember who does it, actually. There's one guy who'll do subscriber contracts. So you send him, you know, a message, my farm is in need of some hay. Could you harvest a field and send 30 hay my way, and I'll send you, £20,000. And he'll incorporate that into his gameplay on YouTube, which is a clever way of doing it if you're not streaming. So I haven't watched his Emerald Coast map. If I remember rightly, it looks like he's streaming it, so his videos are about 2 hours in length. And that's something I've started moving away from. When I'm moving my streams off to YouTube, I'm cutting down to about 30-40 minutes per video. So one streaming session will create 4 or 5 videos, maybe sometimes 3. But it means that if you've got half an hour, you can sit down and watch a section of my last stream, but you don't have to sit down for 2 hours and watch the entire thing in one go, or try and remember where you got up to when CDP, that's the guy, yes. But yeah, that's a way to engage the audience. I think at times that's a good thing to be doing. Exactly, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'll watch YouTube videos while I'm working. And the advantage with doing that is I can pause one in the middle while I'm, if something comes up at work and I have to give it my undivided attention. I can stick the video on pause. And half an hour isn't a big deal to keep track of a story while you're working. But constantly pausing through a 2-hour video can get kind of, I've lost where we got up to. Now obviously my streams are a continuous run of what we're doing on whatever we're doing that particular day. So today we're going to be Old Stream Farm. I'm going to plant this field. How are we doing? It hasn't been going too long. I might get another field planted, but there's going to be a night portion, and then we'll get up the next day, see where our sunflowers are and our wheat on the front field. I might do a little bit of harvesting, but I can, I'm trying to break, even when I'm porting these videos up to YouTube, I'm trying to break these up into convenient points. So obviously if a job takes an hour, it's going to split over 2 videos, but ideally I'll get to the end of this video or this section and I might seed another field, but it creates a natural breakpoint. So I forget offhand, but I think last week we did some ploughing, then some harvesting, then some more ploughing, or cultivating or something. And the harvesting I might have split between the fields because the fields took a little bit longer to harvest than they do to seed or whatever. Now, I don't do much in the way of storytelling like Daggerwin's roleplay series or someone else who does role-playing a lot. And they'll tend to work a job for a day. Even on Daggerwin's non-roleplay playthroughs. He'll look for something to do. So I think today he spent most of the day selling his silage and getting some bigger equipment. Previous days he spent planting stuff or mowing the grass fields, and then the next day or the next video will be him tedding and baling the fields. Or he'll leave them lying around for a bit and then he'll bale them a couple of sessions later. Okay, I'm not sure if Twitch is being a problem or if my stream is being a problem. Something's happening. Get to the top here and see what this says. Wrong one. Huh. Transmission doesn't look bad, so that could be my replay. I might have to refresh my monitor. This ain't going too badly. It's going to be a little bit more difficult when we get to the narrow, long bit. Probably have to run an end-to-end at that point, but I think for now running north-south, east-west, I don't know. What are we running? East-west. Works for now. He also doesn't necessarily learn the game. So he's still running on stuff that was true for 2013 and hasn't been true for since 2017 type of thing. And yeah, we might read the comments, but it can be frustrating watching him where he's sort of declaring that this is a case, and it's sort of, no, that was the case in 2015, and you're still running on the same premise. But because the game is is an iteration up from where it was, but still similar, people don't realise. So I wouldn't be surprised if on one of his videos he's going to say, oh, I'm going to need to plough this because it's been 3 harvests since I last ploughed it. No, that's not a thing in 19 anymore. Me, I'm a computer programmer, so I tend to test. I might work with the premise that what happened in 17 is probably going to happen in 19. But occasionally I might test that. So for example, in 17, I'm fairly certain that soybeans were a very efficient crop to plant. The seed usage on soybeans was much lower than everything else. Now on 19, soybeans seeds, it uses about as much seed as wheat for planting a field. It's canola that's the efficient planting crop. Yes. And I must admit, when I started playing 19, I was under the same impression. Oh, I've got to feed them grass, hay and TMR. But it didn't take me long to realise, well, hang on a minute, it's only the TMR bar that's going down here. Why is that? And you get to realise, oh, well, actually, cows eat the best food available, not all the food available. And as Arthur's doing on one of his farms, he's got cows, he's planning to feed them silage. Personally, I'd have gone for hay, because you can feed them hay or silage for 75% production. And hay's a little bit easier to make than silage is. Hill and drop. I still haven't messed around with pigs on 19 yet. And I really haven't got much into the way of horses either. And can understand why people use the horse helper. Because horses can be tedious. I've got to get out, ride every single horse for 5 minutes. Every game day. And that can detract from all the other stuff you do. So if I decide to do horses on this farm, for example, I probably don't need to be riding around the map for 10 minutes every stream. So I'd either need to get the mod, the horse riding helper mod, or as you say, give them a skip for a while. But they do make good money. Well, do they make good money? I mean, still, let's tell 10 farming days to make 45,000 on one horse. But I've got to produce oats, I've got to produce hay, I've got to produce straw. Well, producing oats will give me straw. Kind of wish you could do horses on Follow Me. That would be kind of fun. Oh, and so after the total disasters that were happening on Mercury Farm, I did make one change to the game settings. I altered the crop growth to slow. Because having rain from morning till evening on one day, I mean, we lost one crop because it was just before harvest, and then it became harvestable on that morning, but I couldn't harvest it because it was raining. It rained all day, and next morning the crop was lost because it goes through 3 stages in about 12 hours. And that next morning, all of the other crops that had been under growth stage were getting towards their final stage of growth, and basically I have maybe 6 hours to harvest them all. So I figured I will drop the growth rate to slow, and that should give me about 8 to 10 hours to harvest, which means I'll be able to recover at least some things. I think on Sunday on Lawfolds I just transported all the rest of the chaff from the main farm, because that was getting tedious as well. In fact, I found it so tedious I ended up renting a semi-trailer to speed up the job a little. I've kept that rental for the last cornfield. Corn silage is kind of labour intensive. Especially if your silage bunkers aren't within easy transporting distance of the field you're pulling the corn or grass from. Why I'll probably stick to silage bales for grass rather than getting a grass mower and hauling that off for silage. I do like Lawfolds. I mean, obviously playing with seasons makes it a slow playthrough. But that's offset by, it does have some nice sized fields and I can afford some nice sized equipment to work those fields. I mean, there's still some niggly things with Lawfolds that, you know, could be improved. The main one is only having one silage bunker on the cow farm, and that I've been harping on about for ages. There's not a lot. You look at it and you think there's quite a lot there, but there's not a lot of storage facilities. And when you get late in the game like I'm at, it's 6:30. Okay, go down to the other field and do that one too. It can